Hello, Booga.
Who this? It's not one of those. It's not. You know what you're trying to sell me? What are you trying to sell me? All I'm getting at the moment is people trying to sell me stuff. Hello, Ezio.
Hello.
You've moved.
Oh, I'm in the kitchen. Yeah.
Looks very nice. It's very white. Very.
Well,
very,
it's very hygienic, and yeah.
It's a cheap kind of kitchen.
Dude.
Oh,
there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've started, Rob. So there we go. We've got you on. We've got you on the recording. So, ladies, can I do the introduction? Can I do the introduction, X?
Guys,
Yeah, definitely.
What?
the brewing. Can I just grab the coffee and come back in?
Yeah, we're going to carry on without you. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Be back in a month.
Lovely to see you, Rob.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Sorry.
What a prick. How are you, X? Are you all right?
I'm good. Look at all that gear. Look at it all. Oh my word.
I know. I've got his address as well. We can do some burglarization.
Well done, because I'm not. I've got mine spread out all over different houses, but it's probably more. So
That's a good point. Actually.
Yeah.
And you, just anyone, just direct message me, and I'll make sure that you get some of the split. Just make sure I get some of the split when you do. Anyway, how you been, mate? You all right?
Yeah. I'm. It's like -8 or something ridiculous.
That's proper. It's proper.
Yeah,
cold.
yeah, and here in Germany, but it's sunny today. So when this is finished, if I complete all my jobs, I will go for a bicycle ride. I went for a short one yesterday. I'm out of breath much easier.
Sorry, I just like the thing of, if I do all of the things that I have been told to do, then I might be allowed to go outside and play with my friends.
The thing is I'm one of these people, is that I don't deal with anything unless
Bailiffs?
I have a gun to my head. I mean, I'm the last minute. I just initiating something is the hardest thing for me. Once I've initiated, I can do it, but no. And also, I put things off. I'll be all right. And then I always run out of time. And I'm sure I'm not unique in this respect. I think there's lots of other lazy bastards in the world.
Well, after knowing you since 1985, all I have in response to say to that is, really? Really?
Yeah.
But
really.
so when you get your jobs done, you're going to go outside and play in the snow. Is it snowy there? You got snow?
There's snow there's not on the roads and stuff, but there's snow on grass and roofs, and it's quite pretty. But it's bitterly cold. I mean, it's no fun whatsoever.
It was
What's it like there in Cambridge? I'm starting to miss Cambridge. How is it there?
It's about. It was. I think my phone said it was -3 today.
Holy fuck all.
So it is colder than a witch's tit. I am not.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I remember this much snow and cold about. Do you think it's following a year of Corona and less planes in the sky and less activity, less warming up generally, or do you think that's just an accident? You don't think that happens?
Yeah, I don't think it happens that quick. It might be. I mean, you definitely saw those images of countries that were in lockdown, and you saw things like in India where the sky was suddenly revealed from the haze of smog of city living and stuff.
Yeah, I just remember last spring when they were like showing pictures of Venice when the canals were actually clear and blue and there were dolphins swimming in it, which I just thought was unbelievable. Yeah. So, yeah.
I do. This is also the Beast from the East, as this has been called here, part 2. But the original Beast from the East.
We
knew a couple of years ago. We
that was later. That was freakish. That happened like mid-March when you would least expect it. That Beast from the East really was. This is just winter. That's got fuck all to do.
That was the classic moment. That was, in fact.
What was it? What term did they coin earlier in the year? Something thunder snow or thunder rain or
in Scotland. It was thunder snow.
Fuck's sake, thunder snow. What the fuck is thunder snow?
That's actually
it sounds like an albino wrestler, doesn't it? It sounds like
that's my grinder name.
Is it?
Yeah. So what I've got tattooed on Latin on the bottom of my gudge.
Oh, yeah.
But
Have you seen those Japanese mosher beaters where they put this green paste in a big bowl and there's 3 of them with big mallets and they're all hammered it really fast?
No, I haven't.
Well, I had a dream. It's like they go around the circle and they hammer this
Yeah.
paste in this bowl really fast with these big mallets. And I was hoping that was what happened to Trump's bottom in prison, but there goes another conversation. Hello, Rob. Rob has joined us. He's back on the screen. Hello, Rob.
Sorry, just coffee. Just needed it.
Well, of course, yeah, you know.
Yeah,
No, that's fine.
coffee, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Before going back, because you were fucked off out of the room, Rob.
Yeah.
So this is the 2-year anniversary of my last Saab died.
Oh, okay.
Because if you remember,
We were on our way.
We're on our way to a gig in Swansea. Not Swansea, Bath.
Right.
So I think we should all just bow our heads for car number 558 that died on the way to a gig by my hand. I am the equivalent.
We should all do the splits and take a bollock.
Are you going to visit it today? You're going to lay some flowers? You're going to have a little quiet moment? Or...
I'm probably going to have a quiet moment. Well, I've had a quiet moment this morning.
Listen,
interrupted by my massive bowel movements, which was the only time I can have a quiet moment.
If we had to have a bowel movement, if we had to have a quiet moment, if we had to have a quiet moment for every time one of our Saabs has died, we wouldn't say anything.
It'd be a night in with Philip Glass.
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, big showbiz entrance. We have a special guest on the Ezio and Booga podcast. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ezio and Booga podcast. And today's special guest is a man who's played in such bands as bands that you've known of, unlike us. He's the legendary Rob Harris. Somebody I've actually known. I think I might know Rob longer than I've known you.
I think you probably do. I mean, hello, Rob.
Hello, everyone. Hi, fellas. Lovely to see your faces.
I think it's.
Do you know what? Do you know what? You two, looking at you two now, you both look like $1 million. And what I mean by that is you're much more impressive.
Listen, if people in glass houses, do you know what I'm saying?
That was you see, you spoke over the punchline of that.
I feel about
you attention deficit motherfucker. The punchline was I've been working on that gag all day.
All right,
and you just talked over the end of it, so fuck you.
And again, Boogs, give us it again.
No. The moment's gone. The moment's gone.
I can edit it. I can put it in.
No, fuck you.
Just voice it.
Anyway,
do a Police Academy style voiceover thing. I come in.
How are you, Rob?
I feel like 2 Bitcoin. That's what I feel like. That's not $1 million. I feel like 2 Bitcoin.
Hold on. That's going to be the currency of choice for all the drug dealers and pornographers. You know.
It is.
So where are you now?
I'm in my little cabin, my little garden shed, without any porn mags or anything like that. It's just guitars and just.
Well, you're a digital guy. Porn mags are too analog for you now.
Analog. That must be a real niche thing now. There will be collectors of Razzle from 1985 spending £50,000 on a copy of Razzle with name someone from that era.
Fisty McMichael.
Lusardi's left toe or something like that. You know.
Well, I put it up there with the same as people who collect vinyl.
Yeah.
The same people who are going, oh look, it's the rare 12-inch version of Can's Earwax Death Squad, and I really want to get that copy of Plus 50 Asian Babes, where Imran Khan's grandmother is up there flashing one of her milk jugs. You know, it's up there, no doubt.
And someone will have definitely got it wrong, and they're just going around collecting copies of Rio from from Carbo's sale.
So what have you been up to, Harris, you filthy sod?
I've just been out for quite a long, cold walk with the dogs. And
Oh, yeah. How many dogs you got?
3.
And which is the sexiest?
Actually, I would say the only one of the 3 that doesn't eat lots of poo, which is Herbie. Herbie doesn't tend to eat a lot of poo. The other 2 just can't get enough of it. It's like a little buffet table when they go out for a walk every morning. All you can eat.
And then they come and kiss you and lick you and stuff like that.
That at all. I tried.
Only if Rob has a shave.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they yeah, so Herbie's the one. I mean, I love them all. They're great, but Herbie's the one that has got the nicest breath.
Well, I mean, we all like kissing, don't we? I mean, who doesn't like kissing?
Well,
Have a snog.
a little snog, a dog snog.
We've all done it, Rob. We've all done it.
Why do you think I was asking which one of them is the sexiest?
There's a weird. So Joni, they wear, obviously it's freezing outside, so we put these little coats on them, and it's weird because Joni, you have to put her back legs through it, and it does look like some weird. As she's walking off in the distance, it does look like she's got some weird French knicker thing going on. She's got these two straps. It's a bit off-putting. You don't want to is it close to just having had your breakfast.
Why are you buying thermal dog clothing from lovehoney.com? That's what I want to know.
Mate, it's been a long lock-in. Been a long lockdown. Lock-in, I can't even say lock-in properly.
Lockdown. No, my mum calls it a lock-up. We've been in lockups. It sounds like she's serving a prison term.
She's got a lock-up down in Bermondsey.
That's exactly. She says lock up. Biden is Beden. Boris Johnson is Jonathan.
Right.
And Donald Trump is that cunt, which is quite unusual for my mum to use such a level of profanity, really.
That's about as much respect as they deserve. I mean, I don't want to get into politics because I'm not that well versed in political things, but at least Biden seems to have come out of the gates quite well. And
well, politically speaking, as three musicians, well, two musicians and me, Brexit is brilliant for us.
Well, it's.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. Let's talk about something because I'm just gonna lose my shit. So
you're in Germany now, aren't you? You're living in.
Yes. Well, I'm not living. Well, you've got this weird ducking thing out. With sometimes you talk and the sound disappears. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'm in Germany because my girlfriend's here, but my kids are in Cambridge. For the last few years, I've been going backwards and forwards all the time. And of course, that's all stopped. Right. So now I'm here. Came here after Christmas, and I had the corona. So I've been convalescing, and now traveling is going to be more difficult. So I'm not sure what to do really. So yeah, we'll see.
How are you feeling? How's it all? Are you okay? You recovered? And
yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. This week I felt weak. Kind of relapsed a little bit, and I just felt really tired. And then this flat's on like the 5th floor, and I carried a couple of bags of shopping and like some water. By the time I got here, there's no lift. I was knackered.
You've had the virus that a lot of people don't think even exists.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in COVID news. I got vaccinated this morning.
Oh, good. I'm really delighted about that.
So good. I'm waiting for Bill Gates' orders now. Talking about anti-vaxxers, Bill Gates will be sending me a download, and I will be being a corporate shill.
Well, he's going to know exactly what you're looking for in Tesco's next time you go in there, won't he?
You know what? If he looked at my browsing history, to be quite honest, the only member of the armed forces I truly respect, salute, is private browsing. He is the one soldier that has kept me safe through many years, many years. A salute, private browsing. God bless you.
Bless him. He should.
So Rob, in the time since lockdown, and obviously touring's a no, have you managed to do much music in this time?
I actually have been doing a lot of sessions here, which I was doing quite a few anyway, mostly remote. All session work, really. About 95% of it ended up being remotely anyway. So luckily, the people that were doing the work, they sort of got a bit more productive in lockdown. So you know, it's
Well,
just
what else are you going to do? Yeah.
done an album. Well, actually, a couple of albums with. I've done a chill out Ibiza style album. So
God, you're a cunt.
Never mind.
it was because the weather was nice, and we just thought, actually, you know, I can. We might as well just. I've been collaborating with this guy online, and we've just done an album. I got to get out, sort of.
I suppose it's better than bumming a dog, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chill out, Ibiza, dog molestation. If the dog's tail is wagging, that's tacit acceptance. It's not rape. You've got to remember that, Rob. Actually, you would know that because you're near St. Neots, and that's called Good Night Out.
We're never going to be able to monetize this.
No, you've just been flagged also by thing now, Bugs. He knows exactly what you've just said. And you're going to get loads of adverts for dog food and everything like that.
Oh, you know, well, this is a thing. This was something talking about that. Ezio bought an insole for one of his shoes from Wish.
Right.
Well, I didn't even buy it. I didn't even buy it. I was searching.
Sorry, right.
It was a silicone ankle support that's supposed to, like, because I've got bad collapsed arches, I'm supposed to lift my heel up at the back and stop my metatarsals hurting. And anyway, I just looked for it, and then after that, carry on, because they just sent me loads of silicone products.
Well, I just carry on with what as we sat in a car going to a gig. I'll get this. Have you ever looked at Wish before? No. Why are you looking at Wish? They sent me a thing about. All I see now is like one thing about an insole, something else about a heel support, and then 400 ads for dildos.
And of course, you look at them, and then once you look at one, then everything comes like.
It's like it's like the Alexa thing, isn't it? If you're talking about something, the next time you open up your computer, the advert for the thing you've been talking about.
Do you think that's a thing? Do you think it's a thing?
Definitely think it's a thing. That's why when we were around my other Rachel's mum and dad, we used to, whenever they were out the room, we used to just talk about sex toys all the time.
That's brilliant.
But I think that's a real thing. I've had it. I've had it where I've been saying, I wonder what the capital of. I've just been having a discussion. The capital of, you know, whatever.
England.
And I go to type it in, and it just comes up. What is the? And then it finishes off the sentence.
Wow, that's a bit scary, isn't it?
Yeah. And Bill Gates is now in my central nervous system after that injection. So
trying to get out as well, though. That's how do I get out of here?
There are some firewalls going up.
This man spends way too much time on the toilet.
I've got to say, it's my quiet place now. It's my place of solitude. It's like Superman had his fortress of solitude. I've got the bowl of contemplation, I like to call it. And the only issue is I do have to have the window open, because otherwise the toxic levels of gas is just overwhelming. I don't want to pass out. But you ever get a thing? You ever get a thing where you're on the loo for so long that your feet go numb?
No, never.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Anyway, it's worth going back. I think X, we should. The people that don't know Rob, and like I said, I've known Rob forever.
We were 15, Bugs, when we met.
It's your 15th.
Yeah, you were 15. You were 15 when I met you as well, Booger.
And you know what comes out of knowing that? You two being in my life since then, it's a fucking curse. You're a jinx.
No, we're not. We're blessing. We're very nice.
Very nice boys.
I mean, you and Rob have been really good mates for a long, long time. And I've known Rob through you, really. So I've known you for a long time, but I haven't communicated to you nearly as much.
I remember seeing you perform for the first time before you two joined forces.
Really?
Yeah, I remember seeing you perform at the boat race. And you had your Takamine, and I remember I might have been with you, Bugs, actually. We might have been doing a gig with that band that we both played with separate times. With the big...
I think at one point we could have all been in the Big Blue. Even I think no, you toured with them, didn't you? The little
Well,
tour
my first ever solo gig, I had a few songs, was supporting you when you were playing with the Big Blue. I think three or four songs.
That was
at the Norfolk.
The Man on the Moon.
Yeah, Man on the Moon. Yeah.
That was one of those. In all seriousness, that was one of those Damascene moments where I went, "What the fuck am I doing with these idiots?"
Having a crap support act like this.
No, yeah. He didn't even buy onto it. No, because please don't. This is blowing a bit of smoke up your ass, but it's very sincere. You played 4 songs. No, you played 5 songs, and I remember them all. And I remember you made up one on the spot. And one of them was Just to Talk to You Again. You did a Saxon Street. You did a song, Just to Be in England Now That Summer Is Here, and one called Laverne and Shirley. You made one up, and it had so much honesty and skill to it that I was in this 6-piece band with all wearing 501s and leather jackets and trying to look cool, and the singer was singing the most white, privileged, middle class prick, writing songs about living in a ghetto, where the nearest thing he's ever got to it is a spell check when he was trying to write Santa's Grotto in Iceland, where he'd gone to for his parents took him. And it was just that it was honestly, it was life-changing.
Well, what I do remember about it was the fact that I had to borrow an acoustic guitar from your singer because I didn't own one, and it was blue, and I thought you should never have a blue acoustic guitar. And he had an elasticated strap which just was bouncing up and down. I thought I was in neon at the back of my head was going wank.
Yeah, it was beyond wanker. And Rob, you ended up playing with them, I think, at some point, didn't you?
Probably the grand sum of about 3 gigs with them. I probably just wasn't cool enough for them. I remember doing a gig for about 4 people at the rec centre in St Ives, and him saying this. I don't know whether this is a story that I picked up from you, but I just remember thinking, "Wow, okay, this one goes out to all the people at Tiananmen Square."
that was you. That was it.
Fucking hell.
In Chatteris. Is that next to the playgroup centre in the little...
That's the sort of thing makes all the difference, really.
Tiananmen Square was actually the Chinese takeaway in Ramsey that he was talking about there.
Oh, I bet that was good as well. Because in those days, they would do the big spring roll. You don't see them anymore. You can't get them anymore. What happened? What happened to this authentic shit? Well, I don't want that anymore. I want that old stuff we used to get. The big giant spring roll, I did anything, noodles, bean sprouts, unidentified little bits of fried meat, gristle, and they were delicious. Do you remember them, Rob?
I do remember them. Yeah, I do remember. I can't eat that stuff now. I get really ill if I eat. Well, I don't.
Well, because the thing is, you've been living it in these rarefied ambiances, and foie gras and like.
Sushi served off the belly of a supermodel.
Yeah, Wagyu.
Car.
Wagyu, it has to be Wagyu, Kobe
Wagyu bacon he's having. That's how he'll have a Wagyu bacon. He doesn't have any bread. Brioche.
The risk of sounding very pretentious, and I just want to see your faces. I've been vegan now for nearly 1.5 years.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
So, I didn't know that. And do you feel better? Do you feel better as a result?
I do actually. Yeah, I do. Well, I hadn't eaten meat for about 5 years. I'd eaten fish for 5 years. I was a pescatarian. Now I've stopped eating all of it. No dairy, nothing.
Is this for health or is it for ethical reasons? Do you say?
Bit of both. And what I'd say,
or pussy. Is it just to keep the bird quiet for a while because she's gone vegan and you've gone? I want a quiet life and some flange. I'm going to just eat whatever she says.
Well, actually, it was.
Yes.
It was me that we watched a movie about it, and we were sort of teetering on the edge of it. You notice how I've just completely skirted over that, what you just said, Bugs.
Yeah, of course.
I've got it etched, Rob. It's etched. It's indelibly embossed.
I started off thinking, I'll see how it goes, but the longer I've done it, the more I couldn't eat any animal. I just couldn't do it. So I did think, well, if I ever go to Japan again, of course I'm going to go and eat some lovely sushi. But now I just couldn't do it. because it's.
You know what?
You feel better for it.
I do feel a lot better for it. I do, and it counts all of the alcohol that I've been drinking this year. It makes me. I feel, I feel normal basically. No, yeah, I do feel a lot better.
Because that was another thing with you, Rob, was that by the time I stopped drinking, you started. It's like it was the worst relay race in the history of mankind. Whereas Ezio has been a consistent long distance runner. Here you go, son. Ezio is the marathon runner, like the East African sprinter.
You say that, but I mean, the whole month of January, I didn't drink one drop of alcohol. I did have the Rona, but but I don't go crazy. I do enjoy. I have a healthy relationship with alcohol. I think, in that I love it.
Why? I have a healthy abusive relationship with it.
But that was something you didn't really start drinking until you were what, in 30?
I was 40 years old.
Right.
Yeah, didn't touch a drop until I was 40. And I don't want to go into the reasons that I started drinking, but
well, I can imagine. All right.
Stress, actually, it was due to stress that being away and being on tour and I'll stop it there, but it did make me go, oh, this is how most people seem to manage it. And then
what listeners should know about you, Rob, because we haven't really mentioned who you play for, who you have played for, but Rob works at a pretty a higher level than me and Booga, and does big shows in big stadia. And I've noticed with me and Booga's career, the further we've got, the higher you get up the ladder, the more stress is involved. So I can only imagine, Rob.
Yeah, it's and you're with people, as you know, you're on the road, and it can be. Everyone at home thinks, "Oh, you're so cushy. You're having such a lovely time." And
sometimes you do. Sometimes you do.
Yeah, but that is balanced with quite a lot of stress, and if you don't check yourself, even just getting on stage to perform, do a gig when you're not in the mood can cause you quite a lot of stress sometimes. If you're having to do it and perform and play and to everyone all the time when you really don't feel like it, and then like with our lot, we're on the road, we're traveling a lot together. You're on a bus with another 10 people that, as much as you love them, your only escape is to go and lay in your bunk and touch
yourself.
Yeah, count your
choke the chicken.
You do on a bus, but yeah, just and then yeah, but that's what didn't make me start drinking. I just thought, actually, I'll have a drink. Someone just passed me over a mojito, we did a gig in Sydney, and we were flying in to do a gig in Sydney and then flying back out the next day. So, and we went to a club. So we got there the day before to do the sound check. We went out that night, did the gig the next day, and then flew all the way home.
Unbelievable.
And
so it's got to be said, sorry to any neophyte listener to this, is that Rob, can I just say your main gig has been Jamiroquai for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
That long?
But yeah.
Oh, wow.
But you've also played on, I know you played on Spinning Around the Kylie #1.
Yeah.
And I remember you playing in Alphaville and Gary Newman. Rob is the most successful and miserable musician I've ever met in my life, which is he's ticked both boxes really well. Etz is miserable, but he's not that successful. I'm incredibly miserable, and I take failure to whole other levels, both in life and in music. But Rob he's taken both of those and gone at warp speed. But you've done. I am. Even though Gore Vidal once said that a part of him dies when a friend is more successful than he is, and I feel the same about you because I'm just rotten inside. But I am very proud of what you've done. You achieved an awful lot, and you are. As much as I hate to say it, you're fucking great.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, likewise.
Oh, fuck off, you lying prick.
Oh, bollocks.
But so
I
yeah,
actually have a memory. I actually have a memory of going to some. I think this somewhere in St Neots to a big sports hall where you and Rob had like a band together, which was in this big echoey room, a shred fest like no other.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was.
It was it was massive. It was like, and then, and I thought, oh wow,
That
What's
was about 30 years ago now.
I know, I
don't
know.
That was Boog and Rob's excellent Pant Messiah band or something.
you? It was called Five Fingers of Fisting Fury.
Yes, it was something like. We had many titles.
Yeah.
I think that actually, because most of my gigs now, I'm just doing rhythm all the time. I do solos, but very rarely do solos. I think the reason for that is because I used up my quota. We just at the same time.
Yeah.
I remember us doing a gig in a pub somewhere,
I remember this near Hadnam.
and we got so into it that I do remember looking up at one point at the end. You know, we're doing the sort of almighty crash end of a song finish that goes on longer than it should, and seeing Booger with his guitar on the floor, and he was just kicking the strings. I was like, yeah, this is what we should be doing.
You used to do that kind of shit a lot, Boogie. You've calmed down a lot in recent years.
That's because of just the horrified looks of everyone around me as I chortled in that. Well, there was the one time I nearly killed a disabled guy in Germany, but that's another story with a guitar.
Right.
Oh no, that was in Karlsruhe, wasn't it?
That was in Karlsruhe.
And of course when you're playing, a standing audience is packed.
Yeah.
And they always put people in the wheelchairs so they can see right at the front, because otherwise people would stand in front of them. And it's quite right, they're in the front. And this guy's going mental in an encore. Did you kick the mic stand over or something?
I
just remember something landed in straight in the forehead or something.
What I actually did was at the end of the gig, because it was a roaring show. I was going through the phase of getting my guitar and taking it off and then swinging it, letting it hit the floor and watching it slide across the stage. Because this is with the band.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And the image I wanted was me taking the guitar off, sliding, as it going in one direction, I'm walking in the opposite direction. So it's kind of like in my head, it's the thing where the guy flicks the lighter into the puddle of fuel and the bad guys. But instead it's just a middle-aged man stumbling awkwardly to the side of a room while his guitar's broken. And as I walked away, the guitar slid across the floor, hit the mic stand, and the mic stand
in slow motion,
cartoonish way.
I saw this thing. I saw look at his face, and the mic, as it came down, the mic had time to turn around to face.
It did a full 180,
and it kind of popped on his forehead.
And the worst thing was, you could hear it through the PA. So it was 650 people in this room, and the mic was cranked. So walking away, all I heard was, "Shonk!" and then John Resch, who we all know,
yes,
ran up to me going, "I think you just killed a disabled man."
No,
Oh.
We shouldn't be laughing with, but he was all right, though, wasn't he? He's still friends.
All right, yeah. He still
I
comes
think.
to see us.
He's still...
So yeah, I went through. Talking about guitar damage, I did go through a phase of. There was the one in Chelmsford where I bounced my guitar from one arm to the other whilst.
Yeah, well, that was just being one of the bigger boys, wasn't it?
Well, that was just telling that prick to shut up. But yeah, there's lots of. I mean, just disrespect. What was the? So in all these gigs that you've done, you played everywhere, Rob. In tiny, like I said, tiny places. Even now, you still do the odd, wedding or whatever. When was the last time you shit yourself on stage?
On stage. Oh man,
you can't.
I do remember being very ill quite a few times on gigs. I remember throwing up as I was going on stage once.
But you never shit yourself.
Ever shit myself.
It's been my night. I have a recurring nightmare of wearing white cotton flares, skin tight, and having diarrhea on stage.
There's something so Freudian that needs to be analysed.
I don't know. It's the same thing. I remember having the same name at school, standing up in assembly with my willy sticking out my trousers, and it was the same nightmare. It's just,
especially when you did that when you were 38. That was difficult.
No. I remember thinking, oh God, because I had a friend, Alan Jones, who was a guitar player when we were kids. I always looked up to, and he had a picture of him playing, and he had a white shirt, white tight trousers, and a red neckerchief and a Les Paul, and he was playing, and it was just a photograph. Mm. But for some reason, in my nightmare, I'm wearing what he was wearing in that picture, these white kind of and that's like, could you imagine? I'd be so mortified if anything like that happened.
Asking for trouble. If you're going to dress in that get-up, you are.
That's why we all wear black.
You're universally ordering that situation. It's going to happen.
I nearly shit myself in Ireland. I think it was because when we toured in Ireland at a level where the promoter was selling his Greyhound to fund it, right? That's the level. I'm not joking. That's what he did. John Glennon, now very successful at what he does, managing other bands. We were his test case.
Yeah, he manages cool bands now, doesn't he?
Yeah. And the diet on this particular trip in Ireland mainly consisted of fried breakfast.
Right.
Every day was fried breakfast.
And Guinness.
And Guinness later on. Fried breakfast, coffee, Guinness. And there was one particular place, I just think we were playing the last song, and I was going, I think my waters are going to break. I think I'm crowning at this point. And we finished, I think Saxon Street, which usually used to take at that point about 20 minutes of non-stop guitar whittling, was actually about 3 minutes long. And I had to sprint the Benghazi and go for a pony whilst Ezio was trying to fumble around. I could hear the room. He was in the room downstairs.
You've done that to me 3 or 4 times. Don't think it's just in Ireland. You've done it several times.
That's the one I remember. But a couple of times, I've had. Yeah, but luckily, I've never shit myself on stage. But
Good.
I've come close.
It doesn't happen to Celine Dion, does it?
We don't know.
We don't know that, do we?
Showbiz, mate.
She's very skinny. She's very probably taking laxatives to lose weight. She's probably wears like adult nappy or something.
I have heard that she gets taken to the stage in a flight case. She's wheeled to the side of the stage in a flight case, and then
they put it upright and then take the USB out.
Yeah, I wonder what's in the flight case. That maybe it's a Kazi. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Or it's
just full of blue liquid, just sloshing around.
Oh.
I've got to say another thing. Another thing I have to admit to is that for a while I did troll Rob. I was one of those internet trolls.
Did you have an alias?
Did you?
No, I didn't. Just because he would on his Facebook page, somebody would write, "Hey Rob, I'm in Brazil. I saw you playing last night. Much funky guitar. You super funky great guy." And then I'd have to say something like, "He mooned me once and he's had the hairiest arsehole I've ever seen on a human being," or something like that. So
only one of those statements is true, and I know which one it is.
Yes. It was so traumatizing, even now, years later.
You'll remember it. You still yearn and pine for that moment to.
It was fucking awful. It was just, he has got the hairiest arsehole I've ever seen in my life of 20 years of watching pornography.
Not made it.
Sorry, 30 years of watching pornography. He mooned me once and it was disgusting. But what I was going to say is you've got a big birthday this year, haven't you?
Yes, I have. 50.
It was I remember your 30th where we went on some almighty bender that ended up with your TV smelling of curry sauce.
Well, somebody rested a plucking takeaway curry on my television, the old-fashioned telly that had tubes in, with a big cathode ray thing in the back. Mm. And it slid off because we're all dancing in the living room, and it slid off and went in the back of the telly. And it was fine, it dried, but the telly still worked. But every time I switched it on for about a year after that, what you could do is smell curry. It used to warm up, and that was a wild fucking weekend, that was. I mean, all the taxi drivers already knew the address because of the people coming and going. It lasted all weekend. Started on Friday, ended on Sunday afternoon.
And that was I think the one thing I take away from that is some of your amazing verbiage was when some coked up girl.
Well, because we gate crashed another party, didn't we? We all left. Yeah. We had an expedition. There was another party going on, and we found the house, and then we didn't see there was a low wall at the front door. And Andy Keithley went into knocked the wall over. We knocked the whole front wall knocked over. And then because we'd been doing it for about 2 days. Then I'd was it you that stuck their finger in the doorbell, yes, pulled it out, and the doorbell with all the wires was stuck on his finger while it was ringing. And they answered the door, and he's got the doorbell on the end of his finger.
And that was some girls asked you what you did for a living. You said you were a musician, and she said, "That's not what my mother would call a job." And then it's just very loudly cutting across the room was you going, "I couldn't give a fuck about what your mother thinks." And that always resonates with me. I couldn't give a fuck about what your mother thinks.
In fairness, I really couldn't.
But your 40th, we had that surprise party, and again,
Rob played. I remember him playing, and you were playing, and I remember thinking, had a fantastic rhythm style, and I was thinking, "Fuck, that's brilliant." I remember being massively impressed, and then for this lockdown, I've been making little videos of me playing and singing, and then I look at them and think, "What a cockamamie style of guitar playing is that?" You know, we're online watching all really good guitarists play, all the technique is all down, all the hands going. I look at myself going, "Oh my God, you got to sort yourself out, son. I mean, is it too late? Are you doing lessons?" Pun?
In songs, that's the thing though, you're playing actual songs with most of those guitar players playing something that they played about 50 times to get 60 seconds. You know, yeah. There's a difference, but it's
I feel that you're just at an age where you can start going topless.
I like to think that doing music generally keeps you sort of like you're in a state of arrested development. It does keep you younger because having worked in the proper office for about 10 years in the civil service, I'm pretty sure that if I'd still be there now, I'd be much better off. I'd have a pension and all, you know, wouldn't have made loads of mistakes I've made since. But I think I'd be totally fucking
it's your quality.
bored.
It's your quality of life, isn't it? I think it's definitely. I always think, I know it's the well-trodden thing. If you can do what you love, you're having a great life already, and kind of finances don't come into it until you sort of.
I remember having a conversation with you, Rob, one Christmas when you'd gone to a school reunion, and you said to me, "You couldn't I can't believe how everyone looks so much older than."
Yeah, I just turned up at the wrong year. That's what it was.
No, but it was something we discussed. Where you were saying because they'd just gone into. Yeah. You were the only one doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And of your peer group of that particular point, you could see what, like Ed said, the arrested development part of it that we kind of have.
If you're ever asked what else would you consider doing, do you have an answer to that? If anyone says, "What, you know, if you weren't doing this, what would you do?"
Oh, well, no, because there was no plan B. It wasn't a question of a choice even. It was like. I was okay. I had a job. I even had a cleaning lady at the time. And I was just really miserable. I was the worst civil servant in history. I used to arrive in the morning, stare at the clock, make myself a coffee, call my mate, stare at the clock, and then fuck off as quick as I could. So that was it. And I just hated every second of it. So, you know, and then and you complain and you get used to it. But actually, it's pretty luxurious, you know. And if you spend time with people, got, you know, at 8 o'clock or at 6 o'clock, they get up and they get ready for work every morning. And you think, you know, that's quite tough. It's a pressure we don't have.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different level of pressure, right?
I mean, we have pressure that's intense. We have the pressure. We have like.
I mean, you just Rob just said, you know, he flew to Australia to
Yeah.
do. How long was the set?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half gig, and then flew back.
Yeah, but he's gone to Australia in a jet with his
Well,
mate.
I hope he didn't fucking run.
We drove to fucking Aberdeen and drove home again and got home at 11 o'clock the next morning. We flew to Malaysia to play one set. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You know, in the days when we could do those sort of things, we all have a schlep. There's schlepping and schlepping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't swap it for anything. It comes up all the time, especially this year. People are sort of questioning what they're doing. What am I going to do? Now they can't tour anymore. And you know, who knows when that's going to come back to what it used to be, if it does. I do sort of speak to a lot of musicians, and they're kind of questioning. Well, I don't know how long I could. Don't know how long I can hang on to this. And I'm like, well, I couldn't consider. Just can't even consider doing anything else.
There is a lot of musicians that perhaps aren't as satisfied in that they're probably playing covers. They're perhaps not getting that much money in. You know, it's perhaps they don't have the same satisfactions that you have, and you know, so they haven't got that attachment. You know, I can't believe what some people go out and play for. So,
but I still go out and play for that as well.
So do I, but you don't have to, do you?
Sometimes I do.
Okay.
You do. Sometimes you know, it is feast and famine. If we don't make an album and tour, the thing is, we'll make a record, we'll tour for 2 years. When I get back off that tour, my phone doesn't ring at all. No one thinks I'm not around. I've been away for 3 years. So you know, it was only on the last tour that I decided that I'm going to take a little rig with me to carry on doing sessions whilst I'm on the road, to keep that work going, because I used to have full years of nothing at all coming in.
Yeah, you see, it always looks glossier from the other side, you see.
So when it came in, I'd be going, and I tried to judge it on whether the music was good or it was with good players, you know, but I would trundle off down to London for 70 quid, you know. It cost me just as much to get there and park as I'd earn on the gig.
All right. I take it back. I take it back, Rob. Take it back.
Everyone feels like that about it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, me and Booga do as well. That's what we do that all the time.
Actually, I have got a second career.
Here we go.
Webcam.
Look out.
What's your second career, Boogs?
Well, I was one I suggested to you.
Why did you ask him? Why did you have to fucking
go on? I'm just going to say, I would want to be, when I hear about the government giving that broker in Portugal something like 22 million for PPE, he's just a broker. I think I could become a broker for glory holing, because that's the only sexual thing that can happen during a pandemic is glory holing, because you're not getting face-to-face contact. I'll just turn up with a drill bit, and kind of measure the heights, and I will just be like the facility, the person that enables.
I always worry how thick the wall is.
It wouldn't matter with me. It's not going to please anyone.
I would suggest plasterboard, because it makes it look bigger.
All right, okay.
What I would start doing, Boogs, in this current climate, you've really got to get your YouTube together. So perhaps start doing some tuitions on how to do your own glory holes.
Measure the circumference of an old bill.
Yeah. Just get that going and work on your Instagram and get your numbers up. And then you might get some sponsorship by Makita or Black & Decker or something. Being cute.
Perhaps Rob will lend you his sexy dog.
Lend? No. Let's talk.
We're talking business here.
We go on canine chat rooms.
Well, look, we've nearly done an hour. I think that's
enough for anybody, isn't it?
Yeah. But Rob, thanks, mate.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you and talk to you as well.
You know what? Congratulations as well for getting married.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And also in the same breath, I'm sorry about hearing you passing of your mum, and it's been a tough time for everyone, and it's a shit deal.
I think everyone's going through it at the moment. There's not anyone you know that doesn't have someone in there, or it's just everyone's going through it. So it's just a tough time. I really hope that we all, without being too hippified or anything, I really hope we all sort of come out of this feeling a little bit different about things and
fresher perspectives.
Yeah.
But thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. We will no doubt. Well, at least we'll be getting you there. But please feel free to share it everywhere because we need the money. So
the thing was, we were worried about Jamiroquai's profile and thought maybe if we did this, it would help you all out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially after the whole Senate thing, that was really bad news for you.
Yeah.
The Senate. I don't know anything about this.
It was the guy that it was.
Oh, the guy. Oh, right. They look like him. Yeah. With a hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, no publicity is bad publicity.
Except
Except
canine glory holing. I mean, that's not shitting yourself on stage.
You know what?
Yeah,
that's the title of the podcast. Canine glory holing. That's the title of it.
If you want, I can do that.
Canine glory holing. Rob Harris. That's what I would say.
No, not at all.
That's it. I'm sorry, Rob. It's got to be that.
Sorry to any dog lovers out there. I'm a dog lover and not in that
way. Of course
way.
You are, son. Wink, wink.
I must say, guys, I've listened to a few of these now, and you two are doing great. I love it. Very good. I don't listen to music these days. I just listen to podcasts.
So do I.
No, same here.
Who'd you listen to? Who would you listen to? I mean,
I listen to one of my favourites is Bill Burr. I like to go. Do you know the comedian Bill Burr?
I don't.
He does a podcast every Monday and every Thursday. He's an angry stand-up comedian, angry Bostonian, and I fall asleep having dreams about the situations he's talking about.
I'll check it out.
He talks a lot about sports, and I tend to zone out about that, but he's just so good and so funny, and you guys are on a par, I would say.
Oh, bless you.
I'm out walking the dogs. I listen to you guys. You make me laugh. I love that. I think it was your very first podcast where Booga asked you, so you've been living in Germany for quite some time now, and what do you feel about this? And you were like, you were a bit flummoxed. And he said, well, and then you spoke about living in Germany, and Booga said, well, what I want to ask is, what's your favourite tasting pasty or something like that?
Well, that was something I did when Rob did a workshop, and I was kept wanting to ask questions, and nobody would give me the mic to ask those kind of questions. So, Rob, after spending much of your life working in bands and looking at the collaborative process between the songwriters, the musicians, and the producer in the way that you produce a record, what's your favourite cheese to have with a hamburger? Just a room full of guitar players going, what?
Yeah.
Have you been doing those workshops like on Zoom and stuff as well? Can you do?
I've been doing quite a few of those. Yeah, sort of for some of the music unis. Very strange experience.
How do you do that? How do you do that on Zoom? Does everybody play at the same time?
Well, no one plays. They just basically ask. It's like this, but you'll have 500 people.
Holy moly!
It's like the worst episode of the Brady Bunch you've ever seen. And you just get questions. There's a moderator that'll ask, Jeff, blah blah blah. What's your favourite Wawa?
No, because I've been. I've got a little Patreon page, and I've been asked to do a guitar workshop on Zoom, and I don't know how to do it. So that's why.
What you need for a workshop is, firstly, you need a lathe, and then
and be involved in light engineering.
Yeah, and like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like this.
Okay.
Just like this. If you're doing, you're obviously plugged into your. Have you got an interface?
Yes, I've got it here. Look, yeah, I've got it here.
Yeah. That. So you're going. Everything's going through that now.
Yeah.
guitar, and they'll hear you going through that. You get
Well,
your
that's
sound.
how I've been doing like little live streams like that as well. So yeah, but I just didn't know if, because I imagined, because people that want to do this are only really interested in knowing how certain my songs, how I play the rhythm, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wanted to be able to help people with that. Do you see what I mean? So
I find the best way to do it, rather than because I do a lot of these, and I find it really nerve-wracking doing master classes like this but I find that as long as I get some questions in, I can talk about that thing. I can talk for ages because you the question in, you're going to go, oh yeah, this is how you explain it. I'm terrible at writing lyrics. If someone gives me a first line, I can go, oh okay, I can help with that. But if I'm sitting writing something on my own, I'm a nightmare.
well, we all are. We all are. That's it don't get any easier. It's just you need that initial little flash, and then it might help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just invite as many questions as you can get, and you find that an hour goes by like that. You get 5 questions, and that's an hour. Actually, I do remember. I don't know whether I should say this, but the question that Booger was going to ask at that workshop was, "How do you sleep at night?" Stealing.
That was it.
Yeah.
I know. The question I was going to ask was, the heritage of black music goes back to the times of slavery, where, taken from their indigenous lives, they get literally worked to death by white capitalists, and finding their only outlet for their emotions and for art was singing and coming up with rhythms. How do you sleep at night knowing that you've taken their music and just churn out 3 chords? You can't. I think that was actually
That.
We could call it How Do You Sleep at Night, Rob Harris.
Your chill album.
you. Well, look,
Right, should call it.
Yeah. Well, look, guys. God, I sounded like the world's worst waiter. Hey, guys, do you want to hear what the specials are today?
Man, wait, I remember being in Vegas once, and I know you're trying to wrap up. I remember being in Vegas on tour in America for a couple of weeks, and they've got every option on the menu that you could ever look for. And but after a couple of weeks where you're having to eat out in a restaurant every day, you're just like, oh, I can't be bothered to look anymore. I'll just have a spaghetti bolognese, and the guy just goes, awesome choice, sir.
I always go back to the Peter Van Hook would always go, and it'd be like he'd be at a Nando's, and he'd go,
No, we were in a kebab shop at 2 a.m. in Brighton. A kebab shop, a hole in the wall with a Turkish guy with like different layers of fucking grease on his vest, and he goes, "Have you got soup?" Do you do like grilled
Dover sole?
Dover sole? Dover sole. I think, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I love that.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, Rob.
Much love.
You will be asked again in front of a
we'll see.
Jury of your peers to go on this and recount this. Ezio,
RSPCA pulling up outside my time.
Oh, you're going to be in Crufts 2021. You're going to be judge of the sexiest hound competition.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me already. See you later, boys.
Take care, kids.
Bye.
Bye.